The day the aliens came to Earth started like any other. Blue skies stretched over Washington, D.C. as John Carter straightened his tie and reviewed his notes one last time. As the lead diplomat chosen to meet the first official alien delegation, his stomach twisted with both excitement and dread. "Are you ready for this?" asked Dr. Susan Miller, adjusting her glasses. The xenobiologist had studied the limited information about the Galactic Confederation for months. Her research suggested they were advanced, organized, and potentially dangerous. "As ready as anyone can be to meet beings from another world," John replied with a tight smile. The delegation landing site had been prepared at the National Mall. Military personnel formed a perimeter while world leaders and selected representatives waited nervously. General Patricia White stood rigid, her hand never far from her sidearm despite the supposed peaceful nature of the visit. "I don't trust them," she whispered to John. "No species travels this far just to say hello." John nodded but kept his thoughts to himself. He believed in diplomacy first, but the general's concerns mirrored his own hidden worries. A hush fell over the crowd as the sleek, silver ship descended. It made almost no sound as it settled onto the landing pad. For several long moments, nothing happened. Then, with a soft hiss, a doorway appeared in the seamless hull. The aliens emerged slowly. Ambassador Zixval led the group of 5 beings. The Alcorian stood nearly 7 feet tall with pale blue skin that seemed to shimmer in the sunlight. His forearms moved with graceful precision as he raised them in what the advanced communications had described as a gesture of peace. "People of Earth." The translator devices carried by the humans converted the musical clicks and whistles into English. "We bring greetings from the 27 species of the Galactic Confederation." Alan Brooks, the UN Secretary General, stepped forward. "On behalf of humanity, we welcome you to Earth." The formalities continued through the day. The aliens presented gifts of technology and art. They spoke of peace, cooperation, and the benefits of joining their interstellar community. John watched carefully, noting how the aliens seemed particularly interested in Earth's biological diversity. 3 days later, the real negotiations began. The Confederation representatives presented standard integration treaties that would make Earth a protected member of their alliance. John and his team of lawyers and diplomats carefully reviewed each document. Late one night, while most of the team slept, Dr. Miller knocked urgently on John's hotel room door. "You need to see this," she said, her face pale as she pushed past him into the room. She spread papers across his desk and pointed to specific clauses in the treaty. "Look at the resource extraction sections when cross-referenced with their definition of developing world status." John rubbed his tired eyes and focused on the documents. As he read, his blood ran cold. "They're classifying us as a developing world," he said slowly. Which means they get rights to extract biological materials, water, and minerals at their discretion," Susan finished. "It's hidden in the legal language, but it's there." John spent the next 48 hours digging deeper. He called in favors from contacts around the world. Information began flowing in about other species that had joined the Confederation in the past century. The pattern was disturbing. 3 other species signed similar treaties, John explained to the emergency meeting of Earth Security Council. All 3 saw their planet's resources harvested extensively. The Trillari homeworld is now practically a desert. The Vox species is nearly extinct. General White slammed her fist on the table. "I knew it. This is an invasion disguised as diplomacy." Alan Brooks looked troubled. "We can't jump to conclusions. We need more information." "We need to stall," John suggested. "Request more time to review the treaties." For 2 more weeks, John's team delayed while gathering intelligence. Susan worked tirelessly, analyzing data about the Confederation species. She discovered that many had unusually long lifespans, suggesting advanced medical technology. When Ambassador Zixval requested a final answer regarding the treaties, several major governments were still divided on how to respond. Some favored signing, fearing the technological gap between Earth and the Confederation. John made his decision. Without authorization from the Security Council, He requested a global broadcast alongside the alien delegation. "We've reviewed your proposed treaties thoroughly," John began, facing not only Ambassador Zixoval, but cameras that transmitted to viewers worldwide. "While we appreciate the Confederation's offer of membership, Earth must respectfully decline these specific terms." The ambassador's skin darkened slightly, the first sign of emotion the aliens had displayed. "This is unexpected, Mr. Carter. These are standard agreements that many worlds have accepted." "Yes, and we've studied what happened to those worlds," John replied evenly. "The Trillari, the Vox, the Windari, all stripped of resources after signing your standard agreements." Murmurs spread through the human officials present. Many hadn't been briefed on these findings. "You misunderstand the nature of development assistance," Zixoval countered smoothly. "The Confederation provides protection and technology in exchange for resources. It is a fair arrangement." Susan stepped forward with data tablets. "Our analysis suggests the exchange is far from equal. Earth would lose control of approximately 60% of our biological resources within 2 decades. The ambassador's 4 hands moved in agitated patterns. "This is not a negotiation. The treaties are standard. They cannot be modified for a single world." John smiled thinly. "Then, we must decline completely. Earth is open to true partnership, but we will not agree to hidden exploitation." The broadcast continued as Ambassador Zixoval's composure cracked further. "You do not understand the consequences of rejection. Unaligned worlds face significant challenges in this galaxy." "Is that a threat, Ambassador?" General White asked, stepping forward. "Merely a statement of reality," Zixoval replied. "The Confederation provides protection from many dangers. Without our support, you are vulnerable." John stood firm. "Earth has survived on its own for thousands of years. We will continue to do so, with or without the Confederation's approval." The delegation departed the next morning. Their ship rose silently into the sky, leaving behind a world forever changed by first contact. 6 hours after their departure, all communication systems on Earth received the same message, broadcast in every language simultaneously. The Galactic Confederation hereby designates Sol System as Quarantine Zone RC-117. No authorized trade, travel, or communication is permitted. Humanity has made its choice. There will be consequences. John stared at the message on his screen as his secure phone rang. It was General White. "You were right," she said without preamble. "Our deep space monitors are detecting multiple vessels entering the solar system. Large ones." John looked out his window at the night sky, wondering which distant star the ships were coming from. "Get me the president," he said quietly, "and contact Dr. Miller. Tell her we need to know everything about Confederation military capabilities." He ended the call and took a deep breath. Humanity had rejected the treaties, but the real challenge was just beginning. 6 months passed since Earth rejected the Confederation treaties. Life had changed dramatically. The alien ships never attacked, but instead formed a blockade around the solar system. They kept their distance, staying just beyond Mars' orbit, watching and waiting. Major Kevin Hughes looked out the viewport of the stealth shuttle as it approached the red surface of Mars. His team of 6 soldiers sat in tense silence, checking their equipment one last time. 2 minutes to landing, the pilot announced. "Remember," Kevin said to his team, "we get in, gather intel, and get out. No engagement unless absolutely necessary." The mission was high risk. 3 weeks ago, Earth's deep space radar had detected unusual activity on the Martian surface. The Confederation had established some kind of outpost. General White wanted to know why. The shuttle touched down silently in a small canyon, 2 miles from the alien facility. Kevin and his team exited quickly, their specialized suits protecting them from the harsh Martian environment while masking their heat signatures. "Move out," Kevin ordered. Back on Earth, John Carter walked into the underground command center beneath the Pentagon. Screens displayed the positions of Confederation ships and the progress of Major Hughes's mission. "Any word yet?" John asked. "General." White shook her head. "Nothing. They'll maintain radio silence until extraction. Dr. Susan Miller approached with a tablet. "I have news," she said. "I've been working with our new friend." Their new friend was Trell, a Ventari scientist who had secretly contacted Earth 3 months after the quarantine began. Unlike most Confederation species, the Ventari had joined voluntarily and weren't fully committed to Confederation policies. "What did Trell tell you?" John asked. Susan handed him the tablet. "The Confederation isn't just interested in our resources. They want us specifically. Human biology contains compounds they can't synthesize." John skimmed the data on the screen. "These compounds extend their lifespans?" "Dramatically," Susan confirmed. "Most Confederation species live for centuries already. With these compounds, they could potentially live for millennia." General White frowned. "So they don't want to wipe us out, they want to farm us." "Essentially, yes," Susan replied, "and they're getting impatient." On Mars, Kevin's team reached the ridge overlooking the alien facility. It was smaller than expected, a dome structure with several antenna arrays extending from the top. "Johnson, what are you seeing?" Kevin whispered to his surveillance specialist. Private Johnson adjusted his advanced optical scanner. 6, maybe 7 life forms inside. They're drilling into the surface, deep drilling. "What are they looking for on Mars?" wondered Sergeant Lopez. "Let's find out," Kevin said. "Monroe, tap into their communication system." 20 minutes later, they had their answer. The Confederation wasn't mining Mars for resources. They were setting up a long-range biological scanner designed to catalog all life on Earth down to the cellular level. "They're creating a shopping list," Kevin muttered, "mapping exactly what they want to take." As the team prepared to withdraw, an alarm sounded from the facility. Kevin cursed. "We've been detected. Move." The team ran back toward their shuttle, but 2 alien craft rose from behind the facility and gave chase. "Command, this is Major Hughes," Kevin radioed, breaking silence protocol. "Cover blown. Under pursuit. Data secured." In the command center, tension spiked as the transmission came through. "Get them out of there," General White ordered. "Deploy the countermeasures." A technician pressed a series of commands. In orbit, around Mars, hidden satellites activated, jamming the alien sensors just long enough for the shuttle to reach the extraction point. Hours later, Kevin's team landed safely back on Earth. The intelligence they gathered confirmed their worst fears. The Confederation was preparing for a resource extraction operation on an unprecedented scale. The next day, the Confederation sent a message requesting new talks. John knew it wasn't a coincidence. "They know we infiltrated their base," he told Alan Brooks. "They're trying to gauge how much we learned." The UN Secretary General looked tired. "Some nations are considering surrendering to their terms. The blockade is straining global resources." "That's exactly what they want," John argued. "They're trying to wear us down." In his office, John drafted a bold new approach. Earth would not join the Confederation, but would instead propose a free trade agreement. They would offer limited access to specific biological materials in exchange for technology and free passage through Confederation space. When the proposal was presented to alien representatives at a neutral space station between Earth and the blockade, the response was immediate and negative. "Unacceptable," stated the Confederation envoy. "Earth must accept full membership under standard terms." John had expected this. "Then we have nothing more to discuss. Earth will continue to develop our own interstellar capabilities. Perhaps other non-Confederation worlds will be interested in alliances." This threat worried the aliens visibly. They weren't aware that Trell had been sharing information about other independent worlds and disgruntled Confederation members. Meanwhile, Dr. Miller worked tirelessly with Trell, who had smuggled himself to Earth aboard a small craft. In her secure lab, they studied why human biology contained the compounds the aliens so desperately wanted. "It's your planet's unique evolution," Trell explained, his thin fingers adjusting a microscope. "Your cells developed differently because of Earth-specific conditions. The compounds exist nowhere else we've found." Lisa Chen, an intelligence officer assigned to Dr. Miller's team, entered the lab with news. "The Confederation Council just voted. They've rejected our proposal and approved military intervention. Susan's face paled. How long do we have? Their ships are already moving, Lisa replied. They'll reach Earth orbit in 72 hours. Across the planet, military forces mobilized. For 6 months, Earth had been preparing, developing new weapons and defenses based partly on technology reverse-engineered from studying the alien delegation ships. General White addressed the combined military command. This is what we've been preparing for. We have 3 advantages. 1, they want our resources intact, which limits their weapons options. 2, we have insider information from Trell. And 3, they have no idea what we've developed since they cut us off. In orbit, the first line of defense was ready. Satellites equipped with energy shields and electromagnetic pulse weapons waited silently. Ground-based laser arrays were aimed skyward. John Carter watched from the command center as the final preparations were made. Any word from the Confederation? He asked. Yes, Alan Brooks replied, looking grim. A final warning to surrender, or face what they call limited military action. Their definition of limited probably differs from ours, John said. Dr. Miller joined them, carrying a sealed container. We have a surprise for them, she announced. A biological countermeasure that targets their unique physiology. Non-lethal, but highly effective. As the alien fleet approached Earth, humanity prepared for its first interstellar war. But John had one more card to play. Using technology provided by Trell, he prepared a broadcast that would reach beyond the Confederation to the wider galactic community. Let's show the galaxy what really happens when you threaten Earth, he said as the countdown to arrival reached 0. The Confederation fleet entered Earth orbit with overwhelming force. 50 ships arranged themselves in attack formation, their sleek hulls gleaming in the sunlight. On Earth, people watched the sky with fear and determination. Commander Olivia Wright stood on the bridge of Earth's first space battleship, hidden behind the moon. 6 months of frantic reverse engineering had produced 8 such vessels. Not nearly enough to match the alien fleet, but they had other advantages. All stations. Report ready, her first officer said. Olivia nodded. Begin countdown for Operation Surprise. In the Pentagon Command Center, John Carter waited with General White and world leaders. Dr. Miller and her team monitored biological countermeasure systems. Everyone watched as the main screen showed the alien commander's face appear. People of Earth, the Confederation Admiral spoke, his reptilian features showing no emotion. Your defiance ends today. Surrender now and accept the standard treaties. This is your final warning. General White looked at John, who gave a small nod. We decline, she replied simply. The alien seemed startled by the brief response. Then, you leave us no choice. We will begin limited operations to secure compliance. The transmission ended, and the alien ships began to move, spreading out to surround the planet. They're charging weapons, announced a technician. General White took a deep breath. Execute Defensive Plan Alpha. Around the world, hidden defense systems activated. Dr. Paul Jackson, lead engineer on the reverse-engineered technology, had worked miracles. The aliens fired their first shots, energy beams streaking toward major cities. The beams never reached their targets. Invisible shields flickered into existence, absorbing the attacks. The aliens fired again with the same result. Shields holding at 92% capacity, reported the defense systems operator. John smiled slightly. They don't know we studied their shield technology from their diplomatic vessels. Time for Phase 2. General White gave the order. Commander Wright, you are cleared to engage. Behind the moon, Olivia's voice was calm. All ships, break cover and execute attack pattern Delta. Earth's small fleet of battleships emerged from hiding, firing electromagnetic pulse weapons specifically designed to target Confederation systems. 3 alien ships immediately lost power, drifting helplessly in orbit. The Confederation Admiral's voice came through again, his calm demeanor now replaced with visible shock. How have you developed this technology? This is impossible. John took over communications. We're quick learners, Admiral, and we had help. On cue, Dr. Miller activated the biological countermeasure. Canisters launched from Earth's surface, releasing an engineered pollen that targeted the unique respiratory systems of the Confederation species. Within minutes, crews on the alien ships began experiencing severe discomfort, their efficiency dropping rapidly. "What have you done?" demanded the Admiral, clearly struggling to breathe. "Don't worry, it's non-lethal," John explained. "Just very uncomfortable. Your crews will recover once they leave our atmosphere." The battle continued for 3 hours. Earth's defenses held strong while the alien fleet struggled against unexpected resistance. Commander Wright's ships disabled 12 more Confederation vessels before the Admiral finally called for a retreat. "This isn't over," the Admiral warned. "The Confederation will not be defied." As the alien fleet withdrew to regroup beyond the moon, Earth celebrated its first victory. But John knew better than to relax. "They'll be back with a larger force," he told the gathered leaders. "We need to use this time wisely." Dr. Miller approached with Trell at her side. "We have an opportunity," she said. "Trell has contacts throughout the galaxy. If we can broadcast what happened here, show how the Confederation tried to subjugate us." John understood immediately. "We expose their tactics to the wider galactic community." Trell nodded, his thin face serious. "Many systems chafe under Confederation rule. They need only see that resistance is possible." Using communication technology provided by Trell, John prepared a galactic broadcast. Earth's satellites were reconfigured to transmit far beyond the solar system. "To all free peoples of the galaxy," John began as cameras recorded his message. "Today, Earth successfully defended itself against Confederation aggression. For too long, the Confederation has exploited developing worlds through deceptive treaties and false promises. We rejected their terms and chose independence." The broadcast included footage of the battle and evidence of the exploitative treaties. It ended with an invitation. "Earth extends friendship to all species who seek fair and mutual relationships. We believe in a galaxy where cooperation does not require submission." The response came faster than anyone expected. Within days, transmissions arrived from worlds on the outer rim of Confederation space. Ambassador Keltmore of the Frisian species was the first to openly support Earth's stand. "The Frisian people have long questioned Confederation policies," the blue-skinned diplomat stated. "We wish to establish direct relations with Earth." More messages followed. A movement was growing within the Confederation itself, with reformists gaining support. Councillor Thex, a longtime moderate voice, spoke publicly about the need for policy changes. "Our approach to emerging worlds must evolve," Thex announced. "The events at Earth demonstrate the flaws in our current methods." Secretary William Nash, who oversaw Earth's defense strategy, cautioned against overconfidence. "The Confederation leadership won't give up easily. They'll try again, possibly with infiltration tactics rather than open warfare." He was proven right when intelligence detected unusual signals coming from various points on Earth. The Confederation had inserted covert operatives before the blockade, agents now activated to sabotage defense systems. Captain Daniel Green, who commanded Earth's flagship during the first engagement, led the effort to track down these agents. His team captured 3 aliens attempting to access military installations. Under questioning, the captured agents revealed a disturbing truth. The Confederation's interest in Earth went beyond mere resources. Something about human biology made them uniquely dangerous to powerful interests in the galaxy. "You don't understand what you are," one agent told his interrogators. "If you did, you would accept protection." Dr. Miller examined this statement with Trell. "What could he mean?" she asked. Trell seemed uncomfortable. "There are legends about species with natural immunities to certain influences. The Confederation Council guards such information closely. John Carter saw an opportunity in this revelation. If humanity possessed something uniquely valuable or threatening, it gave them leverage. He proposed a bold new initiative. Earth would form its own alliance, the Free Worlds Alliance, with sympathetic civilizations. As preparations for this new alliance began, Earth's scientists continued improving defensive technologies. The next Confederation attack would meet even stronger resistance. But deep in space beyond the solar system, the Confederation Council was meeting in emergency session. The majority Hawk faction, led by Councillor Drav, demanded immediate action to bring Earth under control. "We cannot allow this rebellion to spread," Drav insisted. "Earth must be contained by any means necessary." What the Council didn't know was that Councillor Thex's aide was secretly transmitting their plans to Trell. Earth would have advance warning of whatever came next. On Earth, looking at the stars from the roof of the Pentagon, John Carter smiled. Humanity had taken its first steps into a larger universe, not as subjects, but as equals. Whatever challenges lay ahead, they would face them unbowed. 3 months after Earth's victory, the Free Worlds Alliance had grown to include 7 species. Regular meetings took place in a space station built in Earth orbit, where Ambassador Nancy Rodriguez represented humanity's interests. Today's session focused on sharing defense technology among Alliance members. Earth is willing to provide shield technology to all Alliance worlds, Nancy stated, looking around at the diverse group of alien representatives. "We ask only for fair exchange of knowledge in return." Ambassador Keltmore, who had been the first to support Earth, nodded his approval. "The Frisian people will share our faster-than-light communication systems. Together we are stronger." The Alliance was still small compared to the Confederation's 27 species, but it was growing in influence. More importantly, the reform movement within the Confederation gained momentum daily. Councillor Thex now led a significant faction, calling for peaceful relations with Earth and policy changes. Meanwhile, John Carter and Dr. Susan Miller worked closely with Trell to understand a troubling discovery. Their research suggested an ancient species might be secretly controlling the Confederation from behind the scenes. "Look at these patterns." Susan pointed to data flowing across her screen. "Official Confederation decisions often contradict the public votes of the Council. Something or someone is manipulating the outcomes." Trell's thin fingers traced the patterns. "There are legends about the Korathi, a species said to possess powerful psychic abilities. They reportedly vanished thousands of years ago, but some believe they simply went into hiding." John frowned. "And you think they're controlling the Confederation?" "It would explain many inconsistencies," Trell replied, "including why they fear humans." Further research revealed a surprising fact. Human brain structure made them naturally resistant to the type of psychic influence the Korathi supposedly wielded. If the ancient species existed and controlled the Confederation, humanity represented a serious threat to their power. John brought this information to General White and Secretary Nash. "If this is true, we're not just fighting for our independence. We're fighting against mind control on a galactic scale." Secretary Nash looked skeptical. "It sounds far-fetched. Do we have proof these Korathi actually exist?" Before they could discuss further, alarms sounded throughout the building. Eric Howard, Earth's intelligence director, burst into the room. "We have a situation," he announced. "Assassination teams have been detected in multiple cities worldwide. They're targeting our leadership." The attack had been coordinated with frightening precision. Teams of alien operatives, disguised using advanced technology, had infiltrated Earth despite the Alliance's security measures. Their primary target, John Carter, Agent Kyle Bennett, head of John's security detail, moved quickly. "We need to get you to a secure location, sir." As they hurried toward an underground bunker, an explosion tore through the hallway ahead. 3 figures emerged from the smoke, weapons raised. Kyle pushed John behind him and drew his own weapon. The firefight was brief but intense. Kyle took down 2 attackers, but the third managed to fire a strange projectile at John. It missed his heart by inches, lodging in his shoulder instead. "Poison," Kyle muttered, examining the wound. "We need medical immediately." Within an hour, similar attacks had occurred at 10 locations around the world. 4 major Alliance supporters were killed. John survived, but the poison left him weakened and feverish for days. While Earth's leaders recovered from the assassination attempts, Major Kevin Hughes received an unusual mission. Intelligence had detected a Confederation research facility near the edge of the solar system. Reports suggested alien prisoners were being held there, subjects of mysterious experiments. "We believe they're testing methods to overcome human psychic resistance," General White explained. "Your team will infiltrate the facility and rescue any prisoners." Kevin's team deployed in a stealth craft with improved cloaking technology. The mission was high risk, but the intelligence was too valuable to ignore. The facility orbited a small planetoid beyond Neptune. Kevin's team breached the outer hull with surprising ease, suggesting minimal security. "I don't like this," Sergeant Lopez whispered. "It feels too easy." They soon discovered why. The facility had been largely abandoned, with only a small security force remaining. In the central laboratory, they found the prisoners. Not humans, but aliens from various species, all in states of extreme distress. "These aren't Confederation races," Kevin noted, checking their vital signs. "They're from independent worlds." One prisoner, a slender humanoid with silver skin, was conscious enough to speak. Her name was Zeri, from a world called Lumina. "They were testing us," she explained weakly as the team freed her, "trying to find any species with natural resistance like humans. Those who showed even slight resistance were subjected to more invasive procedures." Kevin helped her to the extraction point. "Who was running these tests? The Confederation?" Zeri shook her head. "Not exactly. The scientists spoke of masters called the Korathi. They fear you humans above all else." The team escaped with Zeri and 5 other survivors. The information they provided confirmed Trell's theory. The Korathi were real, and they had been manipulating galactic civilization for thousands of years. Back on Earth, Dr. Miller worked with Zeri to understand why humans were resistant to Korathi. Influence. The answer lay in a unique brain structure that evolved on Earth. "It's not just humans," Susan explained to a recovering John Carter. "Earth mammals share this trait to varying degrees. Something in our planet's evolution created a natural shield against psychic manipulation." John saw the strategic importance. Immediately. "Can we replicate this protection for our allies?" "Theoretically, yes," Susan replied. "We're working on a neural shield device. Early tests are promising." As this research progressed, the Confederation made an unexpected move. The Emergency Council, now with a stronger reformist presence thanks to Councillor Thex, voted to offer humanity a genuine equal partnership. "We recognize Earth's sovereignty and right to self-determination," the official message stated. "We propose a new relationship based on mutual respect." John was suspicious of this sudden change. Why the reversal? Trell, who had been monitoring Confederation communications, had the answer. "The Korathi are losing control. As news of human resistance spreads, more species are questioning Confederation directives. The reform movement is genuinely gaining power." This was confirmed when a Confederation ship arrived carrying Councillor Thex himself. The tall, elegant alien requested permission to address Earth's leaders directly. "I come with truth," Thex told the assembled human representatives. "For centuries, the Confederation has been manipulated by the Korathi. Many of us were unaware until evidence of their influence was compared to humanity's natural immunity. We seek alliance with Earth not to control you, but to free ourselves." The revelation shook galactic politics to its core. Species that had been neutral now reached out to join the alliance. The Confederation began to split into factions, those still under Korathi control and those seeking freedom. John Carter, finally recovered from the assassination attempt, saw that humanity's role in the galaxy had changed forever. Earth was no longer fighting just for independence, but leading a movement for freedom across the stars. 1 year after Earth first rejected the Confederation treaties, the planet hosted an unprecedented galactic summit. Representatives from 42 spacefaring civilizations gathered in the newly constructed Unity Dome in Geneva. Security was tight, with Admiral Patricia White, formerly General White, overseeing protection of the delegates. "This is a historic day," John Carter told Dr. Susan Miller as they prepared to enter the main chamber. "I never imagined we'd be hosting a galactic conference when we first met that alien delegation," Susan smiled. "From rejecting unfair treaties to reshaping interstellar politics, Not bad for a species that only developed space travel a century ago. The summit's purpose was ambitious: to establish a new framework for galactic cooperation that would replace the Confederation's exploitative system. With the revelation of the Kurathi's secret control, many worlds were eager for change. Counselor Thex, now the leader of the reformist Confederation faction, had worked closely with Earth to prepare the meeting. His tall, elegant figure stood at the entrance greeting delegates. "The chamber is nearly full," he told John. "Every major civilization has sent representatives, even those still aligned with the traditional Confederation leadership." Inside the dome, the diverse gathering of species created a breathtaking scene. Beings of all shapes, sizes, and colors occupied specially designed seating. Translation devices ensured all could understand the proceedings. John approached the central podium to deliver the opening address. As he began to speak, a strange sensation swept through the room. Delegates began to shift uncomfortably in their seats. Some pressed their hands to their heads as if in pain. "What's happening?" John asked, feeling a slight pressure himself, though less severe than what others seemed to be experiencing. Dr. Miller checked a device on her wrist. "Psychic attack, powerful one." The doors to the chamber sealed shut. On the main view screen, a new figure appeared. The being had pale, almost translucent skin and large black eyes that seemed to absorb light rather than reflect it. "I am High Elder Kuvex of the Kurathi," the being announced, its voice somehow bypassing the translation devices and speaking directly in each listener's mind. "This gathering is unauthorized and dangerous to galactic stability." The Kurathi had finally revealed themselves. After thousands of years manipulating from the shadows, Earth's resistance had forced them into the open. "For millennia, we have guided lesser species toward order," Kuvex continued. "Your attempt to disrupt this order cannot succeed." The psychic pressure increased. Delegates from several species fell to their knees, overwhelmed by the mental assault. But the humans in the room remained standing, affected but not incapacitated. Dr. Miller activated an emergency protocol on her tablet. Throughout the dome, hidden devices powered up, creating a field that partially blocked the psychic attack. "Your primitive technology cannot stop us," Kuvex stated, though the pressure did noticeably decrease. John stepped forward. "We didn't expect it to stop you completely. We just needed to reduce your influence enough for everyone to see you for what you are. Tyrants hiding behind mind control." The delegates who had been most affected began to recover. With the psychic pressure reduced, they could think clearly again. Many looked at the screen with new understanding and anger. "Your interference ends today," John continued. "Earth and its allies have developed a permanent solution to your mental manipulation." Susan activated the second phase of their plan. Around the solar system, relay satellites began broadcasting a special signal developed from studying human brain patterns. The signal reinforced natural mental barriers in all sentient beings, making them more resistant to Kurathi influence. On the screen, Kuvex's expression changed from confidence to alarm. "What have you done?" "We've shared our natural immunity," John explained. "The signal is being transmitted across all communication networks. Within days, every inhabited world will be protected." The Kurathi leader's image flickered. "This is temporary. We will find a way to overcome this resistance." "Perhaps," John acknowledged. "But by then, the galaxy will be united against you. Your days of secret control are over." The screen went dark as the Kurathi cut the transmission. Moments later, reports came in of their ships retreating from Earth's solar system, heading toward unknown regions of space. The summit resumed with new urgency. With the immediate threat diminished, the delegates worked to establish what would become known as the Sol Accords. These agreements would form the foundation of a new galactic union based on principles of genuine equality and sovereignty. Each world must retain its independence, John argued during the negotiations. Mutual defense and cooperation doesn't require surrendering autonomy. Delegate Jason Ross, once skeptical of alien contact, now worked to integrate Earth culture with alien societies. "We need cultural exchange programs," he suggested. Understanding each other is the best defense against future manipulation. By the summit's end, 39 worlds had signed the Sol Accords. Only 3 chose to maintain allegiance to what remained of the old Confederation, now known to be under direct Korathi control. In a private moment between sessions, Counselor Thex approached John. "There is something you should know," the alien said quietly. "The Korathi will not give up easily. They have controlled this galaxy for over 10,000 years. They see humanity as an existential threat. Because we're naturally resistant to them," John nodded. "Not just that," Thex replied. "The legends say they faced a species like yours once before, long ago. That species nearly defeated them before. The Korathi wiped them out. They fear you will succeed where the Lumari failed." In the final session of the summit, the new Galactic Union took shape. Earth was selected as its headquarters, with John Carter elected as the first council chair. The position was both an honor and a target, placing him at the center of the continuing struggle against Korathi influence. As the delegates departed, for their homeworlds, Admiral White presented John with the latest intelligence. "We've identified several worlds still under heavy Korathi control. Their populations are essentially enslaved through constant psychic domination." John reviewed the reports with a growing sense of responsibility. "Prepare a liberation fleet. The Union's first mission will be to free those worlds." The decision was unanimous among Union leadership. Within weeks, ships from multiple species assembled in Earth orbit, forming the first Galactic Union Defense Force. Their mission: to extend the protective signal to all inhabited worlds and remove any Korathi presence they encountered. On the bridge of the flagship, John stood beside Admiral White as the fleet prepared to depart. Dr. Miller joined them, having developed an improved version of the psychic shield. "1 year ago, we just wanted to protect Earth from exploitation," John reflected. "Now we're leading a galactic liberation." Susan smiled. "Humanity's greatest strength was never our weapons or technology. It was our stubborn refusal to submit to control." As the fleet departed Earth orbit, communications came in from across the Union. Messages of support and hope from dozens of worlds, all looking to humanity not as conquerors or saviors, but as equals who had shown that resistance was possible. The Korathi had retreated to unknown space, but John knew they would return. When they did, they would find not an isolated Earth, but a united galaxy, ready to defend its freedom. Humanity had rejected the treaties, but in doing so, they had forged something far stronger, a future where independence and cooperation existed side by side.